but there had to have been people involved in this who were Pittsburghers because you see it in the details.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Luke.
And I'm Becca, and we're talking about movies like we know stuff.
Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to do a nostalgic review on She's Out of Your League. So Becca, go ahead and take it away with a synopsis of the movie for those who haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, if you haven't seen this absolute comedic gem from the early 2000s, it stars Jay Baruchel of the Jay Baruchel How to Train Your Dragon series, and he plays Kirk, who is, let's say, a below average Joe guy in his 20s who ends up dating this incredibly beautiful, successful woman named Molly, played by Alice Eve. And this is essentially a romantic comedy where these, two lovers are being judged by their friends and family on their relationship. And the movie is raising the question, do you need to be on the same level as your partner? And what does that mean? Is it personality? Is it attractiveness? Is it direction? What constitutes a good score for a person? And we'll get into it, but I would argue that this movie is actually a lot deeper than it seems on the surface. Yeah. And it is, unironically, my favorite Pittsburgh movie.
Yeah, it's a good one.
My favorite movie filmed in Pittsburgh.
Really good. Yeah, shout out Pittsburgh.
Shout out to Pittsburgh.
So we'll go into a spoiler-free review for those of you who haven't seen it yet. But for those of you who have seen it, which is probably the majority of you, at least we would hope it's the majority of you, then there will be a full spoiler review after that. So Becca, take it away with your spoiler-free thoughts.
Spoiler-free thoughts. So pretty much as I just indicated, I think this is a really underrated comedy. Certainly there are things about it that make it clear it was made in the age of The Hangover and Superbad and movies that were going for some shock value.
Yeah, there's some raunch in it for sure.
But I think the movie is actually a lot smarter and funnier and sweeter than it really has any right to be.
Yeah. I would make a bold claim. I think this is the most universally accepted rom-com of all time in the sense that it appeals to both women and men.
Like we rewatched it a lot.
I really enjoy this movie because it is a rom-com. Like it's got the female parts of a rom-com to it, but the majority is actually focused on the guy rather than the girl, I think. They both play relatively equal parts, but I think Jay gets more screen time than Alice Eve does.
He does, yeah.
And so you get to see like funny dude stuff. So it's a little bit like a buddy comedy mixed with a rom-com, and that really I think that's just appealing to a wide variety of people. And so I think this is a really, really solid chick flick.
Yeah, it's funny because it really does touch both categories. Like I said, I think it does it for me in the sense that I like the romance, I love seeing Pittsburgh, there's a lot of good romantic montages, but it's also hilarious.
Yeah, I'm into it for the fart humor and the slapstick humor. That's what I'm into it for.
I'm into every line of dialogue from T.J. Miller.
Yeah.
Everything he says in this movie is hysterical.
He definitely shines. Honestly, the whole cast has great lines in this movie, in my opinion.
This cast is stacked.
So funny. So funny. The writers are top-notch in this movie.
And I'm pretty convinced, back to T.J. Miller, that we've seen his live stand-up, and I'm pretty sure they just let him improv. I really feel like he improv'd almost everything he
probably
said.
did, yeah.
It feels too genuine. It feels too the way he just speaks to an audience.
Yeah, he's got this like style of speaking that just comes through in this film.
It really does make you feel like you're actually following somebody's life.
It really does.
That there's this omniscient camera following this dude and his random dude friends.
Right.
And his dates.
Yes.
And
yeah, right, exactly. And there's just so many quotable lines throughout this entire movie. Just having a blast and just
we quote this movie all the time.
We do quote this movie
Probably
a lot.
more than any other comedy that doesn't star Chris Farley or Adam Sandler.
Right, yeah. Or a yellow sponge that lives under the sea. Yes.
Yes.
But tell me more about why you think this is such a great love letter to Pittsburgh.
Oh man, what a great question. I think that this movie, more than any other movie filmed in Pittsburgh, showcases it the best.
Yep.
And objectively, there are better movies that have been filmed here, like Perks of Being a Wallflowers always comes to mind as probably objectively the best film. But this movie shows off all of the best to-dos on TripAdvisor, which should sound kitschy, but it's not. It's actually, I think it brings through the character and the uniqueness and the fun and the eclectic vibe that just in this movie alone, you see Old Mellon Arena.
To give you an idea of how old this movie is.
You see Mount Washington, Market Square.
The bridges, the
Point. Zoo, PNC Park. It makes me want to just drop everything I'm doing and go do something.
Yeah, and those are all done by like sweeping helicopter camera shots. So it's just great views of the city, for sure. And I think this one is like unapologetically Pittsburgh. A couple of the other ones that are like, you'll hear it in my voice, air quotes, filmed in Pittsburgh. They say they're in Pittsburgh, but on certain scenes, they'll use locations from like New York or places in California and things like that.
Or sound stages. But they'll throw in a skyline of Pittsburgh and they're like, by the way, the characters live here.
Yeah, exactly. But anything that's outdoors in this movie is filmed in Pittsburgh, which is really cool. You see the airport, you see the city.
And I can't remember who directed this and if they have any ties to Pittsburgh, but there had to have been people involved in this who were Pittsburghers, because you see it in the details.
Yeah, right.
In their homes, you see the paraphernalia of not just the national teams, but the college teams.
Right.
And references to like gravy fries and food that's more specific to Pittsburgh. I don't feel like they just Googled Pittsburgh things.
Yeah, they didn't just Google Pittsburgh images and then just paint them onto their movie.
Correct. They didn't just like slap Steelers hat on somebody and say it's fine. Which is what I think of when I think of the show This Is Us, is that the writer, I'm pretty sure, is from Pittsburgh. Half of the show is supposed to take place in Pittsburgh, but in all the episodes, I can only think of a glimpse of something Pittsburgh related.
Things that are identifiable as Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like the least Pittsburgh-looking Pittsburgh piece of media.
Sure, yeah, exactly.
And this movie makes me proud to be from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, for sure. It's a fantastic movie, and if you're from Pittsburgh, definitely watch it. And if you're not from Pittsburgh, take a nice look at our city and enjoy a nice buddy comedy / chick flick. It's fun for the whole family. Well, not the whole family, but fun for every person except for children.
Your spouse will probably like it, regardless of the gender.
Exactly.
Your boyfriend or girlfriend will enjoy it.
It's enjoyable. We really enjoy watching it. We watch it at least once a year.
We really do.
So.
And the last thing I want to say in spoiler-free territory is the soundtrack is great. The soundtrack is great.
It is really good.
I'm gonna put it up there as one of the best movie soundtracks. And it's not that it's anything groundbreaking. It's a lot of like top 40 stuff, but it's very much just like a fun summer playlist. Something that I imagine I would hear on like the pop rock station on Sirius XM.
Yeah.
Over my head, and She's So High, and truly, it's a fabulous soundtrack. The soundtrack is also stacked.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's a great movie overall. So, thumbs up from me, thumbs up from you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching the spoiler-free version. Before you take off, if you're gonna go watch this movie, remember to leave us a like, comment, and to subscribe to our channel. It really helps our growing channel out. And we'll be right back after the break with spoilers. Welcome back. You have entered the spoiler territory. Becca, give us your first thoughts.
So the movie, it's decently predictable, right? But I would say something worth mentioning is that it is not fun for the whole family.
The whole family minus children was my caveat.
Again, the humor was very much mimicking a little bit of like Hangover.
There's some crude elements to it for sure.
Like, to be honest, I grew up in a family of movie lovers. We watched a lot of things together. I would not have watched this with my parents, and I wouldn't watch it with them today. Yeah. And there's actually a scene or two that I'm like, I don't think this is that funny. I'm gonna fast forward through it. And even a couple of those moments aside, which again, they are like more internet conventional.
I don't know, I think. Provocative, evocative.
Yeah. So for some of the grosser moments that are more provocative, also the language, they use the F word a lot.
That's true.
And we're adults, so we're not going to get grounded for saying it, but that would mean, because they use it so much, I probably wouldn't watch this with my teenager.
Yeah. Is this rated like PG-13?
No, it's R.
Oh, is it rated R? Oh, wow. Okay. It's amazing that such a happy-go-lucky chick flick kind of movie can be rated R with no, like today, like a sex scene is like almost required in any rated R chick flick movie, you know?
It's a lot of the 4-letter word.
Yeah.
So that means that I'm probably not I wouldn't really want my child to watch this until college. Like, this is when I saw it. And at that point, I think it's not as much of a no-no. But that obviously, it's a shame that the movie gets so crude in a couple of the scenes and the language, because almost everything else about it just reminds me of my favorite comedies that I would watch in middle school and high school. Sometimes it's a little gratuitous.
Yeah, right. But again, to be explicit, there's no scene officially in this movie. The two main characters get down to their underwear, and that's kind of about it.
Mm-hmm.
And
so they're like mishaps that I would say are the crude moments.
Mishaps, like which ones?
Like
when they're shoving his nether regions?
Yeah, like whenever.
Okay. I wouldn't call that a mishap. That's just the situation.
It's definitely a mishap.
I just think that's just funny. It's all implied.
Right.
So, anyway. But yeah, I really like this movie. Great comedic timing. I love that Kirk's brothers are all like children, basically. Like they're definitely like 35-year-old men, but they act like they're 7,
but he just has
8,
the one
9,
brother,
10.
Right? It's just Dylan.
Is the other one not a brother?
No, it's his girlfriend's ex-girlfriend's
that's
boyfriend.
right. His ex-girlfriend's boyfriend hangs out with them. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right. He does only have one brother.
Dylan is low-key my favorite character.
He's hilarious.
If anyone watches Brooklyn Nine-Nine, he's Teddy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Which is a wild thing to think.
Which is wild because Teddy's this super like boring straight-laced character, and Dylan is like the worst kind of Yinzer.
Right, yeah, he is.
I do wish he would have put on a little bit more of an accent, but he's just this great, like, hilarious loser.
Yeah, he's a 35-year-old man in a 8-year-old's body, basically. Oh man, so funny. And his girlfriend is equally as immature, which is hilarious.
I mean, like his whole family.
His whole family is just immature, but it's hilarious.
Which, in the words of T.J. Miller, like, oh man, your new girlfriend is meeting your family. You don't have to worry about breaking up. She's gonna file a restraining order.
Yeah, right, exactly. Oh man, and just so many quotable lines like, it's a Hall & Oates cover band, and maybe we'll hear some other songs. Oh, no, just more Hall & Oates.
Just Hall & Oates. Oh, you know, the more you talk about the movie, I'm remembering how incredibly impressive like the ensemble is. Like Kristen Ritter is in this.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kristen Ritter of like Jessica Jones and Breaking Bad.
Mm-hmm.
And she's the best friend.
Yeah, she is.
There really aren't any weak links in this movie.
No, there really aren't. Nope. Slapshot Regatta.
Slapshot Regatta.
So many good lines.
Okay, the last spoiler thing I want to say, and I don't think this is a huge spoiler, but yes, Kirk does get the girl. Kirk and Molly
Typical
end up together.
rom-com. Yep.
I do think, despite the predictable ending, I think this movie actually says a lot of really important things.
Okay.
So, some of those being, it's really easy to let other people in your life define expectations for how your life is going to turn out.
Mm-hmm.
It's all too easy to still let somebody define, how you will or won't succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Which is something that very much Kirk deals with from his friends.
Right.
Is that clearly he's a nice guy and has potential, but because he's a little like nerdy and bumbling and lacks confidence, he's being told to don't shoot too high because you probably can't reach it.
Right, yeah.
Which obviously is not great for his growth as a person.
No.
I think this movie also shows that insecurity can make us really mean.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's brought about at the end, or the third act breakup, whenever Kirk breaks up with Molly, and it's really from his lack of confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And she sees that and rightfully points out, this is what's lowering your score for me, not the outward things, but the fact that you don't think much of yourself.
Right, yeah.
So why should we think anything of you?
It's his self-esteem that eliminates him, not his quote-unquote hotness score.
Right.
Yeah.
And lastly, of course, is that there's more to a person's worth or score than just the things that you can see outwardly.
Right.
But also, I don't want anybody to watch this movie, men or women, and think I can fix them. I don't think that's the message.
Yeah.
But I do think that the right person can inspire you to be better.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
They can
for sure.
inspire you to be the best version of yourself. Now, that doesn't mean that you only live for your partner, but a good partner will make you want to take care of yourself and pursue your dreams.
Right.
And that's just,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a wonderful side effect of being with somebody who's actually rooting for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So once Kirk actually had people rooting for him, you see him significantly grow as a person, which is honestly a much more, for me, inspiring moral of the story than I confessed my love and now I'm happy.
Right, yeah.
But one criticism I do have for the resolution is I do feel like the resolution was a little one-sided,
Okay.
where it felt like just Molly apologizes to Kirk for the things that let me rephrase this. Molly apologizes to Kirk for maybe not being honest about his job to her parents or admitting that she did want him to, say, try a little harder in life. And that was valid. But I feel like Kirk really never apologizes to Molly for honestly being an insecure, why don't nice guys get good girls creep.
Yeah.
And I think that's a miss. And I've honestly thought that almost every time I watched it. And it doesn't make me not like the movie. I still rate it very high.
Right.
But that's a miss.
Yeah, I never really thought about that, but that's a really good point. Yeah, he doesn't really ever apologize for his flaw.
Yeah.
She just kind of apologizes, which, I don't know, maybe that's a product of the times, or maybe that's just bad writing. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which one of that
It
is.
just feels like a hole.
Yeah.
It just makes the resolution a
Feel-
little too
feel-
quick and less sincere.
Feel more shallow, maybe.
If I was Molly, I would be like, don't you have anything to say, Kirk?
Yeah, right.
But for a movie where I feel like I mostly have praise, it's something I'm willing to overlook because Kirk seems like such a nice guy.
He's a really nice guy.
He's a really nice young man.
Oh, man. Well, I'm really happy to have you in my corner, Sweet Pea.
And I'm glad to have you mine.
Yeah, we're a good team.
I think we have equal scores.
Equal scores. We're a perfect match. That number is unimportant. We don't talk about the number. But anyway, I think with that, we're going to do some scoring on the movie. And Becca, ladies first.
There's some nostalgia goggles.
Yep.
But I'm going to give it a 9.
Are you?
I personally love this movie. And despite its flaws, I will stand by it and probably continue to watch it at least once a year.
Yeah.
Forever.
I was actually going to give it a 9 as well. And I think my drawback is that, like you said, it overuses the F word to an extent where it's like, okay, that's a little excessive. But the humor in this movie is just too good to pass up, in my opinion.
It's really clever. It's really smart, despite the silliness.
Yeah.
And I really wish more people were talking about it.
And bonus points for being in Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh shot as well.
Yes.
So, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave us a comment. Let us know what's your favorite 2000s rom-com movie.
And/or comedy.
Or comedy. Yeah, either or. Buddy comedy, rom-com.
Think of products of the time. These are the movies we want to hear that you love.
Exactly.
No judgment here.
No judgment here. I would love to hear suggestions from you guys. Please give us a like and a subscription if we've earned it. And thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.
Bye.